And we're going to talk all about integrations with Integer, because although Integer is, we think like the best tool ever, especially when it comes to capturing more leads, managing those leads, etc., it cannot work in a vacuum, right? Especially if you're a law firm, then you've got other tools, whether that's case management, whether that is communication channels like Microsoft Teams or Slack or something. And what you probably are looking for, if you don't have it yet, is for all your tools, all your technology to talk together, to work nicely, everything to just, be friends and put your data where you want it without having to ask twice. So that is going to be what we're diving into. I'll be here also to kind of back Mike up with some things. And while we will be focusing quite a bit on Zapier, it's really exciting because there's so much new stuff in Zapier. I mean, if you've been with us for a while, you probably remember when it was just like sending chat leads, right? So, you get a chat lead, send it off to, such and such other program. That is all changed. You can still do that. But now that Integer has such robust lead management features, all these things that you do inside Integer dashboard, whether that is, adding notes to leads, whether that is, changing the status of a lead and being able to trigger other operations in your case management, in your Microsoft Teams, in any of these other programs. It is incredibly powerful. But it's also simple to set up. I mean, one of the biggest challenges that we have as a company is making sure that we can build all this technology, but if it's too difficult to use, that's Irfan and his little baby. Maybe they'll stop by later on. You can kind of see them in the window. But one of the challenges is, we can build this great technology, but if it's difficult to use, no one's going to do it. So how can we make it as simple as possible? And that's really why when we have this tech team, when we have leadership that is so invested in the customer experience, that's what we're doing it for, so that the tools that we build are not just powerful, but they're simple, they're easy, they're fast. You don't have to think about it once you set it up. And we'll even help you set it up. We're going to talk more about that now. I think Mike is ready. Come on to the stage, Mike. Put your computer there. We might nudge the location of that a little bit. In fact, probably to the other way. We're going to go to the other camera. Is that right, Jordan? All right, cool. It looks good. Well, Mike, introduce yourself. Well, I'll introduce him. He is part of our engineering team. Amazing man from Glendale, California. We're so lucky to have him. He's been friends with the Integer family for longer than he's even been here. But Mike, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So I'm here today to talk about Zapier. So probably the first question is, what is Zapier and what can it do for you? So Zapier is a software service that connects applications from different companies together. To give you an example, let's say you have a lead in the Integer app or your Integer dashboard, and you've just signed this lead, and now that lead is a client of yours. What Zapier can do is when you change the status of that lead to signed or retained or whatever status you have set up to indicate that, Zapier can send a message to your case management app to create that client in that system, and there's no manual intervention from you required. That'll all be taken care of by Zapier through what are called workflows, or in the Zapier term, as zaps. So let me...
just to clarify, Mike, I know you're going to get into details, but you're saying you manage leads in Integer once they become a client. Essentially, you click a button and then they populate in your case management system.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right, cool.
So how Zapier does that, and as I mentioned, they do it through workflows, or what they call zaps. There's two main concepts. There are triggers and there are actions. And so the triggers are, like in the example I gave, would be changing the status from to say retained, or to client, or signed, or however, like I said, however you indicate that that lead is now a client. It also has what are called actions. Actions are what happens when that trigger happens. So in this example that I gave, it would be the client being added to the case management app. So in Zapier, we provide 8 different triggers and currently 1 action. And there's a lot more on the way. So if you have any suggestions or ideas for how we can improve our offerings in Zapier, please let your CS rep know so that we can get that on the roadmap and get that added for you.
Nice. All right. Well, we've kind of set the stage, but I think we can maybe show the good people of Product Lab Day a little bit how this looks. If you are a technical pioneer at your firm, if you've gotten into Zapier before, then hopefully this helps because people know okay, I can move chats from Integer to other platforms, but they might not know some of these other triggers, again, using the Integer lead management side. What happens if you, like you said, change a lead status? Yeah. What happens if someone texts you on your Integer number? Where does that information go? Yeah. Or if you add a note or some other, update information inside Integer, does that just have to live there or can it go and update information outside? And
yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to show. So I think if we want to hop on the screen share and maybe give
sure.
the good people
Sure.
a look at how this is going to be. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to be as lucky enough to have Irfan and the baby show up right now. That's the break. You want to come on?
Oh, it's the break?
Yeah, it's the break. Yeah, we're doing Zapier during the break. We're sharing the screen. There he is. Ah, look at that. Irfan, what's your child's name?
Oh, his name is Aryo.
Aryo. And this is a chief technology officer. He built the whole thing from scratch.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Aryo.
A strong team behind me.
Aryo, do you want to say anything?
He was born 13 weeks ago. I think he's
13 weeks. Wow. You're looking at me like you just met me. I've never met you, but you're a beautiful, strong, young man, and you're going to have a great life. And you've got a great father, you've got a great family. So let's wave to the camera, Aryo. All right. That's great. Thank you, Irfan.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
So if you can see my screen, you'll see that we are inside of a Zapier. And first off, I'd like to show you, if I could get this moved over here, what the triggers are that we offer here at Integer. So here's a list of them, and just to name a few. Here's one for a new chat that Joe had mentioned. There's also triggers for new notes, new text receive, SMS, callback requests, but they are listed here, and they are publicly available and ready for you to use currently. And like I said, there's more in the pipeline too. Okay, so in this case here, this illustrates the example I had mentioned earlier, where we are using one of the triggers, and that trigger is lead status changed. And we created this. This is the trigger here, and here is where we have the action, which is to create a person. In my case, so this is a case management app that we used for this demo. And pretty much you just go ahead and you set up the trigger. You select your app. You select the event you're interested in. You log into the app and configure and test it. It's in our case, you have to select an organization ID, the lead status that you're interested in this case. And optionally, you can choose what the lead status changed from, and also a filter. And then here's where you can actually test your event to see if what will happen when it gets triggered. Over here we have the action, which is in my case, and the event is for creating a person. Here is where we logged into the My Case app, and then again, so it's the same as before. You can select fields that you want to map from the Integer lead status changed trigger. So in this case here, for email, we're mapping the chat's email from first name. For first name, in my case, we're mapping the contact's first lead, and so on. So that's the configuration portion. And then the test portion, you'll actually go ahead and send that and update my case so that a new person is created, but that'll be with just test data. So I think most of you are familiar with having a lead status change. So if we go back from here in this case, Joe has the status of retained, and that's what we had set up in our Zap to have Zapier look for, to qualify that as a trigger here in our Zap. And if I can, let's see. Over here, you could see an example of one of those clients that was created in my case. This is all done automatically through Zapier. That's a nice thing. You don't have to do this manually. It cuts out that step where you're transposing information from Integer into your case management software. It's all done for you, and it'll be done each time that event occurs. So it'll be used over and over again. And you don't have to write any software code for this. This is all purely using the designer within Zapier. And it's simple yet really powerful. So some other examples we have of using Zapier for, let's say we have a new chat, which is one of our original triggers. What we could do is, I've set up here, well, I'll show you, it's a very similar outcome here. Let me edit this. Where we've selected the Integer app, we've selected the new chat event, logged into into Integer, and then the configuration, we've specified our organization name and left these two values blank. And those are optional, but you can set them as well if you're interested in. And then on the Slack side, this is the action. When the new chat occurs in Integer, a Slack will be sent to. A message will be sent to the Slack channel that we specify in the configuration. So here, Joe's logged in to his Slack account, and he has it configured to send it to the random channel. And within that message, he has mapped a message that takes information from the Integer lead and puts it into a message, and that would appear inside of the Slack random channel.
And I just want to add real quick, because we've been doing this for a long time for our company. And if you ever submit a lead in Integer, you typically get a call in less than a minute from our sales team. This is how we do it. And so if you are using Teams or Slack or any internal communication tool, and speed is important to you, I'm sure for everyone here it is, then this is our secret to getting immediate responses to leads. And so I recommend that you look into this for yourself.
Oh, thanks, Joe. So one last thing I want to show is how to create to use an action in Zapier that we offer. Currently, there's one, but we are working on others in the pipeline. And that is to create a lead within Zapier. So a good use case of this would be if you have a web form on your application, and say you're using like Gravity Forms or Google Forms, and you submit the lead submits information through that form. We can pick that up through Zapier and have a lead created inside of the Integer app based on that Gravity form without you having to write any code, just basically setting up a Zap like we did here. And again, very, very similar, no code written. You select the app you're interested in that hosts your web form. In this case, the one event is form submission. Here's where you log into your app, and I don't have the edit on this, but that's pretty much it for the trigger. And on the Integer side is where you can you select the create lead action. That's the one thing that's different this time. And from there, you select your organization, and you could map the various fields that you would like to show up inside of your lead inside of Integrations.
Yeah, and also there is something else, because just like on web forms, if you're hosting it on your website, you want that web form lead to go into Integrations. That's a good one. Another one is if you're using a tool like CallRail or some a voice over IP system, where even within CallRail on their Zapier app, just as an example, you can define it so that only if it's new contacts or new phone numbers, people that are not, in your system already, but if you get a call directly, that you can create a Zap so that person, the information that's captured, even the transcript of the call, can be routed into Integrations as well. So it's not just forms, it's also calls. The goal here is really, with these actions of putting leads from outside inside to Integrations, so that this can be your lead management system, no matter what, where the lead is coming from. They can always go there. You can have all the tools that we talked about, and you're going to see even more in the next session about CRM. We're coming back for a proper session then. And so that's where, it's going to all get tied together with your chat leads, your AI agent leads. Oh, and that's one other thing, Mike, because I wanted to also mention, we talked about the triggers before. New chats to put leads from Integrations to somewhere else. You also can now do it with your LSA responder leads or your text us AI agent leads. You're going to hear more about the text us AI agents. My point is that's a separate trigger. So if you do have that, you'll need to have a new Zap, not just for your chats, but for your LSA leads that Integrations handles, as well as your text us. And so that would be, I don't know if you want to go to one of the other,
sure. Yeah, give me
probably one of the other Zaps. And then we could just, again, really quick show what those other actions are that I'm talking about. Or sorry, other triggers, excuse me. Yes. And then, where is it? Okay, yeah. So I think the top one is like the AI agent.
Right here. Oh.
Yeah, there's AI agent conversation. You've got other ones for the new chat,
LSA lead.
New LSA lead. You also have new SMS received. So this way,
down here.
Yeah. And so these are all the different tools that basically you may need as well. Depending on how you have this integration set up. Again, if you're managing all your leads inside Integrations, you really won't need to use all of those other triggers to send lead information outside, but those are options as well. So anyway, Mike, thank you so much. Any final kind of closing words for the team here?
Well, I think for the team now, if it's I think that's pretty much it, Joe.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on. And where's the camera? All right. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for being here, part of this. And if you're probably not going to see Mike unless we have him back for another lab day, because he's not customer facing. He's building the tools. So let's give a big shout out, big thank you to Mike. And we'll see you for the next one. Thanks, man.